Have you ever been standing near someone who was saying all the right things, someone polite, helpful, and seemingly kind, but your heart began to hammer against your ribs like a trapped bird? A sudden, inexplicable heat rising in your chest. Palms damp. Your nervous system screaming run, while your logical mind was saying relax. You looked around the room, and everyone else seemed fine. Smiling, nodding, completely at ease, and you stood there quietly wondering what was wrong with you. You filed that feeling under social anxiety. Told yourself you were being too sensitive, too paranoid, too much. Made a mental note to calm down and stop overreacting. Here is what the data actually says. You were not overreacting, you were not broken, you were not anxious. You were receiving a thermal radar report in real time, and your hardware was functioning at a level most people in that room could not access. I am Silas, and today we are going inside the mechanism, the actual neurobiological architecture, behind what I call interoceptive threat detection. Your heart was not failing, it was doing its job. Your body had already detected a cold entity operating behind a warm mask, and it was routing you toward the exit before your conscious mind had the data to agree. Before we get into the hardware, the reframe has to come first. In the laboratory of the self, human connection is not purely emotional, it is energetic. We are equipped with sensors that perceive the silent, chemical, and vibrational states of other people before they even open their mouths. This isn't vibes, this is data. And the first step to mastering it is trusting the instrument that is your own body. It is thermal. Authentic people emit what I call radiant presence, a measurable, trackable emotional output. Your nervous system reads the way a satellite reads heat signatures from altitude. When someone is genuinely warm, genuinely interested, genuinely safe, your mirror neurons lock onto the rhythm of that warmth. There is a coherence between their words, their micro-expressions, their vocal prosody, and the felt sense they leave in the space around them. Everything aligns. The signal is clean. Your system relaxes because the data is consistent. A narcissist is running something entirely different. They are running what I call a low-resolution empathy simulation. The mask is rendered to appear warm. The words are calibrated to sound kind. The smile is deployed at precisely the right moment. But behind the performance, there is no actual thermal output, no genuine emotional heat, because there is no genuine emotional investment in you as a person. You are a resource, a mirror they intend to use. And your hardware, if it is properly calibrated, will detect the delta. The gap between the warmth they are projecting and the cold core they are concealing. That gap is not subtle. To a sentinel, it is enormous. It is the difference between standing next to a fireplace and standing next to a painting of one. Both look identical from across the room. Get close enough, and one of them has no heat at all. Now the mechanism, because this is where it gets precise. The system relies on a feedback loop between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. When the signal is inconsistent, the amygdala triggers a microstress response. It is a biological warning that the environment is no longer predictable. Before you have spoken a single word to this person, before you have consciously registered anything unusual, your vagus nerve is already running a background scan. It is the longest cranial nerve in the human body, a direct communication line between the brain and the heart, the lungs, the gut. It is the biological infrastructure of what Stephen Porges identified as neuroception, the subconscious process by which your nervous system evaluates safety and threat in the surrounding environment. And it operates at a speed that language cannot match, faster than thought. Faster than any conscious opinion your prefrontal cortex might eventually form. What the vagus nerve is specifically scanning for is prosody, the emotional rhythm embedded in a person's voice, their movement, their breathing pattern, the subtle fluctuations in their facial musculature that signal authentic internal states. Genuine people carry rich prosody. Their emotional rhythm is complex, layered, and consistent with what they are communicating. A narcissist's prosody is flat underneath the performance. The surface signal reads warm. The deeper signal is hollow. And your vagus nerve does not get fooled by the surface. It reads the layer underneath. When the scan returns a cold result, your amygdala, the threat detection core at the center of your limbic system, receives that data and makes an immediate decision. It releases the vagal brake. Under safe conditions, the vagal brake holds your heart rate steady and keeps your nervous system in a regulated state. It is the biological equivalent of cruise control. The moment your amygdala flags a threat, that brake releases and your heart rate spikes, not because you are scared in any conventional sense, not because you are fragile or anxious, but because your operating system is flooding your body with the adrenaline required for a system exit. It is preparing you to move, giving you the fuel to get out of range of whatever cold thing your radar just located. And here is where the exhaustion originates. Your system is stuck in an emergency state, burning through resources while you try to act normal. Because most people do not exit, they stay. They smile back, they make small talk. They tell themselves they are imagining things. And in doing that, they force the body to run two completely contradictory programs at full capacity, simultaneously. The threat response is active, elevated cortisol, elevated heart rate, heightened sensory awareness, muscles primed for movement. And the social compliance program is running alongside it. Stay calm, be polite, do not cause a scene, do not make it strange. These two programs are in direct conflict, and your CPU is maxed out trying to resolve a contradiction that has no resolution. That is why you leave a conversation with a narcissist feeling like you ran a marathon. You did not simply have a conversation. You fought an internal war for the entire duration of it. Now the application, because data without deployment is just theory. The first move is acknowledgement. The moment your heart begins to spike in the presence of someone who appears perfectly fine on the surface, stop treating that signal as noise. Say it internally clearly. Threat detection is active, the radar has found a cold core. That single act of acknowledgement does something structurally critical. It transfers the data from your amygdala, which operates in pure survival mode, up into your prefrontal cortex, which is your strategic analyst, your long-game processor. You are not silencing the alarm. You are routing it to the correct department. The second move is verification. Watch for the glitches. A narcissist's mask is sophisticated, but it is not seamless. Look for the moments where the warmth in their words does not register behind their eyes. Watch for the microsecond delay between a genuine emotional trigger and their performed response. That half-beat where a real person would have already reacted, but they are still loading the appropriate expression. Listen for the way their vocal register shifts when they believe no one is paying close attention. These are the rendering errors in the simulation, and your Sentinel hardware is built to catch them. If the cold you feel in your chest does not match the warm smile they are wearing, the radar is accurate. The mismatch is the data. The third move is the hardest, and it is the most important. Trust the physics. You cannot logic your way out of a thermal reality. You cannot reason yourself into feeling safe around someone. Your nervous system has flagged as a predator. If your system is reading ice, their carefully selected words will not change the temperature. Words are the cheapest data point available, the easiest signal in the world to fabricate. Your vagal scan is reading something words cannot reach. Trust the deeper signal. Your heart is the most sophisticated sensor in the laboratory. It sees the frost even through the brightest mask. It has been sending you accurate reports for years. Stop filing those reports under anxiety. Stop apologizing for receiving them. Stop waiting for external permission to trust your own hardware. If your heart has ever warned you about a person before you had the evidence to back it up, drop a fire emoji in the comments. And let the other sentinels know the radar is online. Stay rare. Seal is out.